I'm Josh Jessen.
I'm Brandon Kaiser.
I'm Kate Coleman.
Yeah, so when we're not creepy, we're talking about shit. And so now we're going to talk about E3. We were all kind of creepy there. So, geez. You take offense because you think I'm talking about you.
No, because Josh is like that thing there. I was like,
You're just jealous you didn't do that.
that's what Ross does as a fuck you in like Friends.
What?
Friends?
E3! E3 is what we're talking about, guys. Back in the day, a lot of people watched Friends. But anyways, E3, right? It's all done now.
What is that?
It's all done now. We are completed. It is the Electronic Entertainment Expo. It is the big video game convention where they show all the newest games.
Where it takes place this year?
Systems and things. LA Convention Center, as it always does.
Oh.
So, anyways.
What the hell did I go to last night then?
Gay brothel.
Okay. This is not how I
Not that
expected this
kind of
to
gay.
start out.
Lesbianic gay.
And you guys said this was going to be short, and you're already get this, whatever. Anyways,
We're having-
okay. So
I had a fist
E3,
of whiskey and a fist of
we're going to now tell you what we thought about it. We've done some videos, over the last week where we talked about it. So we'll see how much new we have to say, but we'll see what happens. So,
I like this sentence right there.
yeah.
I'm going to underline that for you.
So, well, this was the thing we talked about last time we did a video, which is, yeah, I got a list of stuff to talk about in case you didn't notice this.
What's the first thing on your list, Brandon Kaiser?
The first thing on my list, which I didn't even mean for this to be a list when we discussed it, but anyways, the first thing I am down to talk about, the first thing I have to talk about,
It's in list form.
how, well, I know myself, along with just about everyone else out there, is pretty much sold on the PlayStation 4.
That needs to pop up right here.
That's
Sold
the
on
system.
PS4.
It's the system to get this, at least to start this generation. If you're getting a system in the fall or whatever, it looks like PlayStation 4 is the way to go. I know that its pre-order sales are way above Xbox One's, and
I believe Amazon stopped pre-orders for PS3 or 4.
I heard that they won't be launch systems anymore. That they'll be whenever.
Yeah, they're out of
So-
launch PS4s.
Yeah, I've heard that Amazon's done with launch PS4s. But anyways, yeah. So the PS4 would be my choice if I had to choose. If you had to choose, I'm guessing you would go PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Kit, what would you choose if you had to choose? Granted, Kit warned us before we made this that he didn't watch anything on E3.
We've had several
So-
videos about this whole discussion.
So I'm interested to hear what he has
Hold
to
on,
say.
hold on. Let me change the wording. Kit, I know you don't want an next-gen system and you
Yes.
don't believe in them.
But if you were forced to choose,
Not even forced. If someone gave you the check and said, "Here,
You can spend these on one of the systems.
you can buy one of the new systems at launch," what would it be?
Well, it's going to be a PS4 for several reasons. One,
Because
you
we
guys
said that.
are getting it. And it's not like I'll follow in with the group. It's more of like I want to play with these assholes.
I got it.
And
That
on top of that,
big
everything,
selling point for the Xbox for me. And
everything they're doing with the Xbox just seems like they just want to fuck themselves in the ass.
They are.
Kind of.
I wouldn't word it like that.
Well, they don't want to fail. Everything they're doing, they
But
want to fail.
They seem very adamant against failing this year. Just their business practices, what they're
It's
saying,
true.
their PR, they're not PR, they're backtrack. Like everything they're doing just seems like it's just one misstep after another. And it seems like at this point you have to know, they have to consciously be knowing that they're doing stuff that nobody wants, and they're doing it anyway.
It's
I mean,
like-
it takes effort to know that you're doing something that people don't like, and to just keep pushing it.
It's almost like they forgot what they're selling.
And it's not just that; they're being kind of mean about it too. The
Yeah,
whole thing
that
about
too.
the whole thing about if
very
you don't have
defensive.
you can't get an internet connection, then you can get an Xbox 360. It's like, well, fuck you.
That's
Then.
it.
It's
That's
like,
everything.
well,
Funny,
well,
but they
that's-
fired. Who quit? Who's like, deal with it? No,
Well,
that's
there's
seriously
that guy,
how it is going to be.
But no, I can't. Was it a producer or someone from Microsoft did say that in an interview that apparently Microsoft kept trying to get taken down of YouTube, was that where they're like, if you can't get a internet connection, get it. We have a product. It's called a 360, which apparently isn't a good way to sell your next console. Tell everyone to keep the one they have.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
there was another on Reddit's, which I don't look at Reddit's, but it was brought to my attention. There was a developer for Xbone who also said, like, if you're looking for a system that's strictly gaming, go get a PS4. But we're gonna do all this other stuff.
Well,
Wait, who said that?
Okay.
An engineer for the Xbone.
in terms of that,
God.
okay. a lot of people see that as a negative. I don't think that's necessarily being that negative. He's just saying that it will not only do
yes,
gaming.
they're aiming. Apparently, their ultimate goal is to take over your living.
And again, this doesn't mean that they're going to lessen
No.
their focus on gaming. It'll probably be similar to how it has been, but then they'll just add on this other
Right,
stuff.
but and he referenced a lot of stuff. He's like Minority Report style screens where you like control your whole living room, like cable, phone, lights and stuff with just like the Connect and stuff like that's Microsoft's ultimate vision is to have like a whole, like a box that controls everything in your house. That's what they want. It's very ambitious. I don't think we're ready for it right now, obviously. And
until we see a way that is like a really cool thing, is that something we want? Like, we haven't been shown anything that tells us that's what we want. If you're gonna show us, if you're gonna tell us that this is your view of the future, you kind of need to show us something that makes us go, I want that.
Well, that's what they're building up to. That's their long plan. But right now they're introing it with a lot of dick moves on their part.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's what I think a lot of the problem is they're just kind of being really dicks about it.
Okay.
Whenever people question them, they're very defensive. They're like, and they're very cryptic. They've never really given solid answers to a lot of stuff. They just kind of just go, well, this is our stance, and then they kind of flip people off.
So, in other words, I kind of want to get into now why I personally want a PlayStation 4, because it's not just Xbox's mistakes, right? It's not the only reason I want a PlayStation 4.
And they're awesome commercials.
That definitely has to do with them.
Yeah, they're pretty rad.
Yeah, they make good commercials. But anyways, the obvious stuff is there. The used games are fine, which again isn't 100% thing.
Exclusive, sorry.
It isn't all that kind of stuff. It's not just Microsoft's mistakes that they went the opposite way on. That's not the only reason why I want a PlayStation 4. So now I want to kind of get into the other things, the positives of the PlayStation 4.
Infamous Second Son.
Infamous Second Son is a positive. At first, I was very much about I don't care about Infamous Second Son, the more I see on it, and now that I've seen actual gameplay and stuff, I look at it and go, actually, this looks pretty awesome.
You kind of want to go through and play Infamous.
It makes me want to go back. I own Infamous 1. It makes me want to go back and play Infamous.
I said play it.
I played Infamous 1.
I own it, but
yeah, I know. I know you. So that's why I said play.
Never played it. But
that's on the screen right now.
It's the PlayStation 3 games.
I've seen it played a couple times. It looks.
Hasn't played it.
That's another good thing to bring up here. We just bashed Microsoft.
My wizardry with captions.
We just bashed Microsoft a lot, and we all are primary 360.
Which is why we're so upset and feel betrayed.
So we're not coming from a place of hating Microsoft.
No. I love my 360.
They won me over for my PS2, and I loved my PS2. I love my. I still play it. PS2
so
was awesome.
I just wanted to put that out there so people didn't think like, oh, these guys are just Sony fanboys. But no.
Xbox 360
I think
is a fantastic system.
If they were longtime listeners,
I will have many fond memories of it.
And you know what? Even after Sony takes over my heart, I know that I'll still have my 360, and there's games that I'll still play. Like I'll still play my 360. That's not going away. That's got our Minecraft stuff.
I don't even think I'll be getting rid of my PlayStation 3 until this Gaikai shit starts.
I think people
let you
really
play PS3 games. So.
Yeah, I think people really should just drop the idea of allegiances that some people have of like, oh, I'm an Xbox fan, I agree.
Allegiance,
or I'm a PlayStation fan.
To an extent, I agree with you.
You're a gamer.
Allegiance stem from the wallet. Because a lot of people can't just keep...
That I'll go with, yeah.
People can't shell out for both consoles. And I mean, sometimes eventually you do get both.
And again, I have PS3
both of you have both.
That's a reason. Like, for the wallet is a reason. But if you're just saying, like, oh, like, I love Xbox or I love PlayStation because...
But that's where it comes from.
No, don't do that.
Once you buy your first console, you're clearly, like, you're going to defend it.
You're a gamer.
That's just a mentality.
Whatever works for you. Works for you.
If I had to be true, it'd be like, I love my computer. My computer does everything I want, and usually for free, but it's illegal, and we don't talk about it.
Hey, more
Actually,
and more.
You know, to be fair, I got
more and more. I'm learning to love my
My
computer.
phone is like.
Josh is of course kidding, and he does nothing illegal.
I have a lot of stuff on my phone.
Let's continue talking about the PlayStation 4. The other strong thing about the PlayStation 4 that makes me really want it is its indie support. And this is something that became more apparent as the conference went on. Also, at the beginning of the conference, Microsoft did have like below there that Sword and Sorcery Guys game or whatever looked kind of interesting, and a lot of people were excited about that. And they talked about how we're still going to focus on indie like we did with Xbox Live Arcade and stuff. We're just going to have we just can't let you self-publish, and that was the big thing. And But in contrast, Sony came out with their press conference and they showed like at least half a dozen indie games that were like already pretty much either done or in development and ready to go, and they were like stressing it and pushing it forward and saying it's open, you can publish your own shit, you don't have to go through us, all that kind of stuff. They were saying everything right. And if they would have said all that and then these games that I wanted to play were then still going to be on Xbox One, it wouldn't be so much as a plus. But the thing is
They're not.
the indie developers really do care about this. And there was a lot of statements about people, saying like, they'd show their indie game and they'd go, so what systems is this for? And they'd be like, oh, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 and PC. And then they'd go, how about Xbox One? And they'd go, we're independent. And then like wink at the camera or whatever. So it's like there's a very strong indie sentiment of we aren't gonna support Xbox One because they are shutting us down like that.
And I want to, because Kit kind of looks a little confused. I just
No, I'm not confused.
Okay, I just
thinking.
because not being able to self-publish, that's more money you got to shell out to Microsoft to get through, and like PS2 had
and you don't have control over your stuff. You don't have
Confused in
control
the sense
over
of like 360.
Why would
had
they do that?
independence. Why would they shut
Well,
this
no,
whole
the
thing off?
indie, the Xbox indie stuff was still like you had to buy their kit, you had to go through them, they had to submit to the Xbox.
There are stories of it costing like $20,000 for updates and things. So if you're an indie developer going, oh, what if I want to update the game at all? $20,000.
And you had to go through. Well, you had to go through live,
Yeah.
which means you had to pay them for live.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things that
And like
the
So they had to do all that stuff already.
yeah,
Yeah, well, this is why a lot of people.
money.
Well, this is another thing we'll get to. But anyways, with indie support, I mean, you got, and the more I see of The Witness, the more interested I'm in it. At first, The Witness just kind of looked at this weird open world, some sort of puzzle game thing, and the more I see it and hear about it, and hearing people get excited about it, makes me then more interested in The Witness. And The Witness is, of course, the Jonathan Blow game, the guy who did Braid. It's a PlayStation 4 exclusive, at least to start, for a couple of years or whatever, until then it could maybe come to Xbox One. But by then nobody cares about it. So.
But the Witness, just because the guy who made Braid. Braid's amazing.
Yeah, and sometimes he doesn't say the greatest things, but he's very opinionated and he's an interesting guy and he makes interesting games. So, cool to see whatever he's doing.
I was going to say, like,
I want to say interested again.
When the PS2 had Alien Hamid, which was a independent game published by Behemoth.
Okay.
Tom Fulp Newgrounds, like they made that game, they published it themselves because I pre-ordered it from GameStop back then. Where they were only gonna get they weren't gonna get copies because it was an indie game. There was only so many. Pre-ordering it made them get 4 copies into the store and stuff like that. And that's they blew up and because Alien Hamid was a sweet game. Then they eventually got to do Castle Crashers and stuff like that. I mean that's an indie game, self-published success story. Which we can't get with Xbox One.
Played the shit out of Castle Crashers.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of indie games that look really cool, and a lot of people are talking
and
about.
What we talked about last.
And I get the feeling that a lot of them are going to be on Xbox One.
And what we talked about during our casual E3 conversation is a lot of innovation came out of the PS3 because that's where it was happening. Because the Xbox has all these restrictions, and we mentioned before it's not like a new thing Xbox has been doing. But it's another thing they mentioned that's going to continue. It's their trend that's continuing, and meanwhile Sony is letting it happen.
Another thing kind of coming out of this E3 that became clear about the PlayStation 4, we talked about how Xbox has that $20,000 update fee and stuff like that, and you see the change in third-party developers and their support. A lot of games nowadays. 360 is the primary thing that they are, making their games for, or that they're focusing on, that they sell more copies in and stuff. And you see a shift. I mean, you even see Bungie with Destiny kind of supporting PlayStation 4 more than Xbox One. Yes, Destiny will be on Xbox One.
Yes.
But they're kind of much more excited, and I think they've said this in interviews, that they are more pleased with their working with Sony on the PlayStation 4 for Destiny than they have been in their experience with Xbox One. So. And this is, all the time. I mean, Assassin's Creed 4 is going to have exclusive content to the PlayStation 4 and Watch Dogs and a lot of these games that are third party that come out on both systems. It seems like all of the developers and publishers and
There
stuff.
might be a shift from
they're
our-
more focusing on the PlayStation 4 is the way to go, and maybe that has something to do with the reaction that it got. Like everybody, the pre-order sales and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, more people will be buying our game on this
Super
platform.
scared.
But I don't think it's that because they kind of went into E3 with a lot of these feelings and and things to say.
No, it is
So-
it's a tonal shift. Like we mentioned, like it's kind of a flip. Like PS3 kind of scared a lot of people off because it was trying to be everything.
Yeah.
And then 360 came in and just kind of swept the like Sony's instilled fan base and took it. And now this year, complete shift.
Yeah.
Because now the 360 is trying to do what the PS3 did.
And the Xbone's doing
And-
trying to do what the PS.
Yeah, no, they're trying to do.
Oh,
what
yeah.
Microsoft is doing what Sony did to 3, which is why we say
They're
it's
switching
kind of-
roles.
They're switching roles. And Sony's just sitting there going, we're just going to play games together, people. And people are like, hey, I'm buying a game console.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this.
They forgot what they sold.
Repeat it for
Yeah.
people who haven't seen. I know Kit didn't watch it. Just another thing. The thing I said at the E3 press conference is we have the TVs, tablets. When Sony was trying to do this whole entertainment thing,
We didn't have
we didn't
all
have the
that.
technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're kind of pushing it too far, and nobody wanted it, and that was fine. Microsoft right now is trying to do the same thing, but we have technology. We have smart TVs. We have apps that can control our stuff like that.
Now they're kind of too late.
They're too
So-
late. They're trying to push the envelope, but they're a little bit too late to the party. We don't need a 600 or 400,
$500.
$499 US box that does all this stuff that my $2,000 TV already does,
Yeah.
and my tablet.
My universal remote and my tablet and my
I already
phone.
got
We were
stuff.
updating all our technology to do these things.
We already have that stuff.
And,
And if you're into that sort of thing, you've already bought it during the
Yeah.
7
Do it,
years
yeah.
this gen was,
It's really just they're focusing on the wrong people to
Yeah.
start. You start with the hardcore.
which is what Sony did.
Those are your
They-
early adopters of the hardcore. So you focus on them, and they didn't do that. And so
it's almost as if they're trying to aim it at the people who weren't able to buy all this shit. But they don't have the money to buy the fucking system.
yeah.
The people that didn't update aren't going to update it with a game system.
Yeah, they're not going to.
Which is still
Because as much,
ultimately,
tell you
as
what,
much as they don't
I'll-
want
it's,
to,
ultimately it's
Yeah.
still a game.
it's still
Yeah, I'll
seen
tell
in
you
the
why they
eyes of
buy it.
consumers.
Because it's a game system. 'Cause
And
it
it's,
plays
and it's
games.
still going to be seen in the eyes of consumers as a game system. No one that doesn't play video games at all is going to go to a Best Buy and go, oh yeah, I want to do voice activated TV stuff. Can I get one of those Xboxes?
I like telling the
No.
Xbox to give me Gordon
Yeah,
Ramsay.
sure.
It tells
Sure,
me
like,
where
I'm
Gordon
looking in
Ramsay
the home entertainment system. I can't find an Xbox One. Oh, there's your problem. You gotta look in the gaming system.
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
what?
And that's
Exactly.
that's.
Um,
I mean, and that's the thing with
So-
they've been trying to push this, like,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's what Sony started trying to push for years. That it's not just a game console; it's a entertainment thing. But
They
nobody's
stepped away from
nobody's
what they
buying
were doing.
that.
Alright.
It's
So-
just not happening yet.
moving on. In past podcasts, I've said there's one thing that Sony could do to help me want a PlayStation 4
The
more,
controller?
and it's the controller. So that's what I want to talk about now because
Did they actually
and
move the
now
joystick?
No.
I'm going to cash in my Kickstart money ability that I now have the ability to say that
You have the ability for
Did
that?
you kickstart? Did you?
my good friend
What'd
Jeff
you do?
Kanata tells me that the controller for PlayStation 4 is far superior to the Xbox One controller. So, and he said, a 360 controller, he's an internet guy, he did Totally Rad Show, now he's doing Newest Latest Best, which is the show I helped kickstart.
I know who he
Right.
is. Because he said his name a lot
Yeah,
tonight.
anyways.
I don't
But anyways,
listen to him.
he said that he tried both controllers out, and he said that he is one of those people that said, and has been saying, 360 controller is the best controller, right? Like, nothing compares to this controller, it's the best controller.
It's just
The
where
PlayStation 3 controller-
Alright,
He said he tried both controllers, and he said that he first of all has to say Xbox One controller didn't feel as good as he was expecting. It doesn't feel to him like as comfortable. They add all that stuff on the top, and it makes it kind of awkward and feels a little weird. That he said the triggers feel weird and they don't feel like you want them to. But then he said in contrast, using the PlayStation 4 controller felt so much better than the PlayStation 3 controller, and in opposed to the Xbox One controller, he said he preferred the PlayStation 4 controller. So, and I've heard a lot of people starting to talk about how the PlayStation 4 controller, it's a big improvement over what we had with PlayStation.
It does
3.
look wider, and maybe
Maybe it helps a little bit. Yeah.
But I don't know.
And
I
he also
see-
mentioned that the touchpad in the middle, it's not just a touchpad, it actually has a button to it. So you can press it. So it's not going to be as much of a like, oh, I need to slide over here perfectly. It can also be an extra button that you just go, oh shit, and quick hit.
You're
So
just like on your controller, and you're like, yeah. Just like you gotta move it.
Yeah.
I've seen some pictures of the controllers.
And you're like,
and
oh, Sony, make me a dating sim.
They don't look a hell of a lot different than the
It looks a little bit
PS3, Xbox. It looks wider. Yeah, in spots it looks wider. And then there's the touchpad thing they put in the center. Well, the touchpad for the.
Well, and I get the impression.
You're like,
I get the impression that the PlayStation 4 controller also has a little more heft to it. If you use a PlayStation 3 controller, it's a pretty light thing. Like you feel like I'm gonna break this, you know, like
It's
you
very-
get stuff.
where
So
the
adding a little more
controller's
heft to it and
Yeah,
making
just
it
like a
sturdy-
wireless
but making it
PS2
seem like a
controller,
sturdier thing, you know, like something that
Yeah.
feels right in your hand and is gonna, you know, be comfortable. I think
You
that's.
could throw it across the room in a fit of rage.
I get a feeling that, you know, we gave them crap for they just released the same controller again, like they always do. But, you
Yeah.
know, maybe they did put more effort into it.
Because they said
Maybe
away
they
from
did.
Blu-ray.
Maybe they did, you know, do some subtle tweaks to make it a heck of a lot
We
better.
don't know until we
So-
have it in our hands.
Yeah, again, we haven't tried it, but I'm saying the things I'm hearing make me much
Yeah.
more.
I'm gonna stand in line at a
Making me-
display just to feel it in my hands. I think.
Get on those press badges. That's
You heard me.
Yes.
You heard me. You heard me right. I'm totally gonna stand in line just to feel that in my hands. Feel it move and vibrate.
PlayStation Move.
No.
Okay. Another thing.
Throwing a bow.
Another thing that I think no one's really.
They're bocce ball simulations.
Another thing that no one's
Like
thinking
those.
about too much, and I guess, you know, I'm surprised this isn't a bigger deal, kind of. But I guess because it already exists, it's not as big of a deal as it is. And that is free to play. You have these two systems, one is $500, one is $400, and I have no idea what the Xbox One has in terms of free to play, other than I guess kind of
Killer Instinct, sort of.
yeah, kind of. But
Killer
Sony,
Instinct, kind of, sort of. If you're only interested in.
Sony has the cheaper system, and yes, $400 is still a lot of money. We're not saying $400 is chump change.
It's
Like,
well,
oh, I'm gonna throw out
it's
$400.
cheaper than $500.
Yes, it's cheaper than $500.
Or way
So-
cheaper than whatever they're paying.
But here's
in
the
euros.
difference. Here's the difference. You get a new system, and you go, oh man, it's like $400, and I'm gonna have no games to play for it.
Well,
That's not so true because Sony seems to be really pushing this free-to-play stuff, and they mentioned things like PlanetSide 2 and DC Universe Online being free. You can just play them on your PlayStation 4, and like it's free. You can spend as much money on them as you want, and then otherwise
Yeah.
play them for free.
I
So
would
you will
start playing
have-
DCU again.
I know, I would too.
Where my superpower was
Yeah.
guns.
Again for us, but you for the
Starting,
first
yeah.
time, right?
Oh, you
So-
played it too?
I have a PlayStation
Yeah,
3.
is it?
Oh,
I
okay.
have the PS3 version.
I did
Donna
So-
season has one.
Well, I know Davis plays. Well, Selga plays it.
And I got the sweet Batman statue that came with it because I got the limited edition. 'cause
I made and my superpower was guns.
I made a. I can't remember now. Anyways,
And I
I made
remember-
a priest that was like fed on fear. It was
Oh,
like
that's
crazy
weird.
shit.
And then
Yeah,
Davis gave
yeah.
me shit because it took leap climb and flies apparently.
Father Fear. That was the name of the character.
Doctor-
Wait,
amazing.
you leap, climb, and fly?
No.
I wanted him
Eventually
to
you
be,
get the
I wanted
glide
him-
ability.
I wanted him to have Yellow Lantern powers and everything. I was like building him for that in mind, like it was gonna be awesome. But anyways, it was. But anyways, so free to play, you'll have games to play without buying a game.
And that's always a
And-
plus.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Kind of like when you bought a Wii and you got Wii Sports at least, and that was actually.
I guess, like,
Oh, you laugh.
No,
but that took
I
a
laughed,
long
but
time.
no, Wii Sports
But this
was
is
like the
more
best
of-
thing I had.
It was the
for
best game on the Wii for a
Yeah,
while.
and you know, that's the thing I guess we're not thinking about looking forward to is that, well, both of those games I mentioned, PlanetSide 2 and DC Universe Online,
PlanetSide 2, I could.
they're not for Xbox One, but also because they're made by Sony Online Entertainment, so
I'm just
they
thinking,
never
like-
will be.
I just think when I used to buy systems, they came with a game that was like
Yeah, back in the
Nintendo,
day,
like
they used to-
Mario, Sonic
what?
was with Genesis.
It's been
Those
so long
games, like,
since we-
you
I did.
spend all your
You know
time
what,
with
though?
stuff until you get money.
It's just
Buy
that
the
they don't
game.
advertise it that way, because go to GameStop's website right now and look at pre-orders for PlayStation 4s and Xbox Ones, all they sell is bundles. So like, because I was looking at it, I was like, kind of tempting, I could get PlayStation 4 and Battlefield 4 for a bundle for $460.
That's the thing.
So, and granted, I'm not saving any money on that, but
Right.
still,
But we've
it
been-
was a bundle.
It's been so long
if you're
since the
gonna
last
get it
gen, we
anyways.
don't remember that.
Yeah.
Not only do you have to buy the console, sometimes you have to buy the hookups.
Games.
You gotta get
and-
the game.
At least this time we don't have to get internet adapters and things like that.
That's
so,
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
I already got the HD TV and stuff.
I wonder if the PlayStation 4 will come with a headset finally, though.
I heard they have a new headset.
They've shown the headset; it's a single earbud thing with a
and it's
mic.
supposed to be sweet.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really cool. So hopefully that pans out. So, anyways, in general, I think that is pretty much my gist of why I want a PlayStation 4. I'm not. There are still some question marks. Wow. There are still some question
I
marks.
the floor.
There are still some question marks, though. Okay, so anyways, Sorry about that.
Oh shit, we moved
Had a little bit of technical difficulties.
Why are you
So,
looking at your arms as if that...
My arms move.
Look at crap, they move!
Okay.
That's what arms do.
What I was saying was there are things that I'm not completely sold on the PlayStation.
They're just
things,
moving.
There are
Keep going,
things,
keep
things
going.
I have a problem with, right? And I said one was the internet, the security, the server improvement, and kind of most importantly to me, because I understand that things aren't always safe, is can we get some cross-game chat? Really, can they just say we can get some cross-game chat?
I have
So
seen
they have-
the announcement.
I
They have
I
cross-game
haven't seen
chat.
anything about it.
I don't feel like pulling it up.
Okay, on PlayStation 3, right? Say I was playing like
party
Uncharted.
chat.
Say I was playing like Uncharted and you were playing like Infamous and you were playing Killzone.
They don't
I'm
have
throwing these
that
out
on
there.
it on
Let's not say.
PS3?
If we were all playing different games,
No,
we could
yeah,
not talk to each
jeez.
other. We could not talk to each other if we were all playing different games.
It's terrible.
No, I saw
So-
I didn't get
I saw that
PS3.
confirmed in a checklist of PS4 stuff.
If that's confirmed,
Cross-game chat has been confirmed.
If that's confirmed, then I
I didn't
kind
even
of
know
want to
there
go
was a problem.
pre-order. PlayStation
I didn't know that
4.
until he bitched about him and Richard not being able to.
Why do you think when me and Richard played God of War, we played it while the 360s were on?
Because I was on and I felt special.
Well, we were playing the same game, so we could have done it. But because
Saw that. Saw the tear.
Yeah, no, I've heard that's confirmed. So
That's confirmed. That's
I did
awesome.
not. Jesus.
And
I feel bad for you PS3 users.
I
now.
kind of want to go pre-order a PlayStation 4 then, if that's the case. But anyways,
you do what feels right.
there are a couple small things then, and these are things that I'm sure. Well, one is, PlayStation 4. Pretty much people can consider it one. It was the big thing that everybody wanted of the new systems and all that kind of stuff. But really, they didn't show us any Last Guardian. Let's remember that.
They're still in development.
Do you think so? I've heard a lot of rumors that it could be done.
I thought.
Done,
I'm pretty sure I heard that it's coming out for PS4. That it's a thing that's in development.
Last Guardian.
They
The
actually
Team
make Shadow
Ico?
of the Colossus.
Yeah, the Team
Oh,
Michael guys or
yeah,
whatever.
I never actually played Shadow of the Colossus actually.
I'm going to kill you.
I played Ico.
Dude, you have a PlayStation 3, you can get the Team Ico collection or whatever. It has Ico and
He has a
Shadow of the
PS2.
Colossus.
I will give you Shadow of the Colossus. and play it.
You don't need to. My brother owns it.
Okay, so anyways.
Kid may not.
Hey, at
live
least I've
the
played
night.
both of those games. I feel
Seriously.
for once on the opposite
I
side of
sat
this.
Lauren
discussion.
down and made him play that, and he thanked me. He thanked me over.
It
and
is a
over
great
again.
game.
I'll talk to
It is
Lauren
a
about
great
that.
game. It is a great game. And that's why
That's
Last
a lot.
Guardian looked so awesome. Last Guardian looked awesome and we didn't get to see anything again. And so, hopefully it's still coming. But I just wanted to throw that in there because, people seem to think that PlayStation 4 did no wrong, but they did do something wrong. No Last Guardian. And then, I said this before, kind of. And,
No Ridge Racer.
This is just my
Ridge
complaint,
Racer.
I know this is just my complaint.
Or Giant
But-
Ninja Crabs.
If I want a PlayStation 4, which I do, then I kind of want a Vita to go with it.
That's your fucking thing.
And I know that's my thing, and I'm not saying it's a complete negative because I guess making me want your product cannot be seen as a negative to you. So, but anyways, I want to be able to play the system when the TV's not on and from other places in the house, and I want to be able to, play the cool games that I want to play on Vita, and I want to be able to play all the old classic games that they are re-releasing on it.
Shadow
Like,
Colossus.
I want to do that
Shut
shit.
up.
You can probably play Shadow of the Colossus on the Vita. But anyways,
If you could.
you probably can download it and play it. So anyways, I get the impression that me and Josh are sold on PlayStation 4, and I get the feeling that Kit might be getting one eventually too, just because we do.
Eventually. My major concern is before I actually break down and buy one that Xbox will just suddenly cut off the 360.
They won't do that.
No.
They
It's not
said
the online.
Well, no.
I don't think they
No,
will.
they said they will still support 360 for
It'll be years.
for a number of years.
Yeah.
They also said they're a gaming console. I have trouble believing that too.
And I thought you would have played Shadow of the
Look at-
Colossus because it's in your house.
They are in the shithouse
Look
right
at,
now.
we're all confused.
I
about
kind of
this.
think at some point they have to really go.
Seriously, kid, Shadow of the Colossus.
At some point,
I've seen
Microsoft.
it.
Okay. At some point, Microsoft really has to go. We don't want to make anyone else mad, so I don't think they're going to turn off the 360 servers for quite a while.